from Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. Glass producer Consol Glass has completed about 85% of the construction and installation work of Phase 1 of its R1.9 billion greenfield glass factory in Nigel, Gauteng. Tracy Hancock reports.
Consol Manufacturing Services Director Paul Cornell discusses how the plant differs from the company's other facilities.
The land is more than twice the size of our current plants, and we've implemented many incremental advances in technology. So we have the most efficient furnace. It's the biggest furnace in the group. We have one more in the Cape already, but it's equal largest. It's got a new piece of forming technology in terms of the NIS machine, which is an all-servo machine as opposed to pneumatic. We have the latest inspection equipment. We have a much lower electrical requirement, partly because we've switched to gas, but also because we've gone for sort of VSDs, energy recovery systems. So it's a much more energy efficient plant.
The facility will be operational by September and initially produce flint glass for the beverage markets.
Around mid-August, we'll start the warm-up of the furnace. That'll take around 10 days to warm it up to temperature. It'll take about 4 days to fill it up with raw materials. We'll get the first glass trickling after 14-15 days. We'll then bring up the furnace to its rated draw. We will then start loading the forming machines, and we'll do them sequentially. We'll probably bring them in several days apart. That'll take a further week to 2 weeks, and then we'll be at full production. So probably just on a month from when we do the first lighting of the burners until all the lines are running and making saleable product.
Consol Group Operations Director Brian Roger says Nigel was chosen as the location of the plant for 3 reasons.
We've got a very good relationship with the council. Second thing is, in a glass plant you need power, you need electricity, which was here. And third thing is we need natural gas, which was also here.
Other news making headlines this week. Institutions need to align courses to facilitate further education. Urgent interventions are needed to rebuild collapsing manufacturing confidence. And the first metallic iron from the Palabora pilot project is expected in June 2012. The difficulties further education and training college graduates are experiencing in obtaining credits for overlapping courses from universities of technology and traditional universities is creating a dilemma in government's focus on education and skills development, says consulting, engineering and project management firm Hatch Africa.
There's a greater need out there for lower level technical skills. So it's important for FET colleges to align the sort of training that they provide to what the industry requires. Because of the large projects that are out there, the infrastructure development within the country and Southern Africa as a whole, there is a big shortage, and we need to ensure that FET colleges are aware and therefore being able to offer what industry needs so that people become employable as soon as they come out of those colleges.
A survey of 18 CEOs representing South African enterprises with revenues of between R300 million and R10 billion shows that manufacturing sector confidence deteriorated in the first quarter of 2011, despite a strong recovery in production.
We often cite Rand as a factor, and Rand is important, currency is important for any global competitiveness, but there are other measures that are as important in many cases. Support for local manufacturers, rebates that some manufacturers get, subsidies that others get, in all kinds of open and not so open ways. So if we look at the total picture of manufacturing support that comes out of India or China, South Korea, increasingly Brazil, we see that unless South Africa takes measures, our manufacturing is going to be on the back foot, not only because of the strength of the Rand, but also because of other measures that are introduced.
Work is expected to begin in September on a pilot plant that will convert stockpiled magnetite fines into metallic iron at Palabora Mining from the end of June next year.
From a South African perspective, there's no doubt that once we have a lot of metallic iron available, we can create a whole steel industry. and we can create massive employment downstream from that. And we can do what everyone's desiring to do. Instead of selling iron ore, we can sell a highly valuable product. So effectively, if all iron ore that we made and produced in South Africa, at the moment some 35 million tonnes, was produced as metallic iron, it would change the face of what we do.
That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.